Hey everybody, it is Kendell, Lenice, the Remix Coach. I'm here with my brother, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., and this is season 4 of More Than Just a Movie. Today we will be talking about Jumping the Broom. Y'all know that movie, Paula Patton, Laz Alonso, 2011. Some might say, well, that's not a classic Black movie, but I guarantee you, every time it's on, you watch. So we're going to talk about it. Let's get it. Leroy, we season 4.
Happy New Year. Oh, can we still say that? Is it too late? Is there a limit on when you can when you have to stop saying Happy New Year?
People always ask that. People always ask that because some people be like, why they say Happy New Year and it's already been. But I don't know. I think in January you can still get away with it.
Oh my Lord, yeah.
And
that's
then if
true.
you haven't seen a person and it's beginning of February, I still think that you can say that. But if we're going down to June, that's too much. What do you think?
I know, I think I agree with you. I think March is a little bit too much. February and March is a little bit too long. You're already in the year, but we I hope the people like the new snazzy. Say we moving on up with the intro and all of that good stuff. The new design. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. like McDonald's. I'm loving it.
You know what? That's how we got to do it. We got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to be intentional about it. I think now we're going to have ads running through. So there'll be ads and different things on it. I don't know yet. We have to see it back. So, hopefully, more people will see it. We will see. But we're going to keep doing the same show, whether it's 1 or 100. It doesn't matter. We're going to still keep doing the same
or
show.
100 or 100K or 500K or 600K.
There you go. I wasn't thinking big enough. That's why he's my brother. That's right. All right. So Jumping the Broom. Let me read it to you just in case you haven't seen it. Sabrina Watson, who is played by Paula Patton, is a successful corporate lawyer who comes from an old money family. When she meets Jason Taylor, Laz Alonso, she thinks she's found Mr. Right and eagerly accepts the Wall Street workers' marriage proposal after a whirlwind courtship. However, when Sabrina's aristocratic parents, Angela Bassett, Brian Stokes Mitchell. Now, if y'all know Trapper John, MD.
Yeah, you know I was going to go there today, don't you? I was going to see how far you go back.
Man, when I saw him, and he still looks amazing.
Yeah,
when they meet Jason's postal worker mother, Loretta Devine, at their estate on Martha's Vineyard, the class division seems very wide indeed. Now, this movie came out May 6th, 2011. People may not know it's directed by Salim Akil. Who is Salim Akil? Mara Brock Akil's husband. She started Girlfriends and she wrote on Living Single and Moesha. He created Black Lightning. He directed several episodes of Girlfriends, and I'm limiting him. They're mega producers and directors. So Salim Akil.
Didn't they do Black Love too?
Yeah, no, Love Is. The show Love Is.
Oh, is Love Is? Okay, Love It. No, not Love Is. Okay, they did Love Is, but who did Black Love? I thought they did Black Love too, but I got you. Love Is was a great show too.
Love Is.
That was a great
show. About Black. So Love Is based
on
Love Is and Mara Brock Akil's relationship. So that's their story. It only had 1 season because of some political things and some allegations or something in the background as far as, when I think Me Too was happening. And, I don't know what played out of that. So I don't want to perpetuate that because, I don't know what's right or wrong. But I do know that I love those two. I love that Love Is. Even though it had 1 season, it could have definitely, if everything wasn't happening, it could have had at least 4 or 5 seasons because Let me
Yeah,
tell you how many times I've watched Love Is season 1. About 10 times I've rewatched it. That's how
yeah,
great it is. And the
yeah. It
story.
was one of those refreshing, positive, black shows that
Yeah.
we, that was on TV, man. And that was just, I was like, oh man, when that, when I was like, oh, ah,
Yeah.
you know,
So good.
so
And
yeah, it really was.
producers were Tracy Edmonds, who used to be married to Babyface. I don't want to reduce people to their spouses, but Tracy Edmonds, TD Jakes. That's why
Dion's
he,
girlfriend.
huh? What you say?
I said Dion's girlfriend.
Oh, right, right. Babyface's ex-wife. They do women like that. They don't do men like that. They do
No,
women like
no, no. See, don't act like that. Don't act like they don't do the men like that too. So
well, they do say Stedman. They do say Stedman. They do call Oprah
that's
Stedman.
Oprah's husband. Oh,
Right.
and no,
And
it ain't
he's
Oprah. No, Oprah's boyfriend. It ain't even
right
her
of
husband.
40 years. And shout
Mhm.
out, he's from South Jersey too, but he was well established in
Yeah, yeah.
in business.
He's
People
big
don't
time.
know.
Yeah, people don't know. Don't sleep
Don't sleep
on
on
brother Stedman.
Stedman Graham.
Not at
No,
all. No
no,
sir.
he is like a quiet storm. And I love that
Yeah.
because he's so secure in his manhood and his
Yep.
business savvy and what he does. He don't even sweat that. He just be
Yeah,
chilling.
he's like and that's what, like you said, that's what I like about him, because he's not worried about the fanfare. He doesn't care about
No.
all of the other stuff. He's like, look, I know who I am. I know what I do.
Yeah.
I know this is who I am, and this is what I've been made a name for myself in doing.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
I love that. Yep.
Exactly. And just realized the banner wasn't up. Okay. And let's see. So the movie made 30 I just lost it.
37.7.
$37 million. $37.7 million. Leroy, how much it take for them to make it?
Here we go again. 6.6 million. Do the math, y'all.
So does that sound like a success?
Absolutely. What is that? You more than quadrupled your money.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
5 times. That's at least 5 times what it
Right.
cost you to make. At
And
least 5, because 5 and 6. 5 times 6 is 30. So you
yes.
talking at least, maybe even almost 6 times, because that's
Yeah.
36.
Yeah. And that debunks the old myth is people don't come out to see black movies.
But see, and I wanted to talk about that today too, because and I didn't realize that Tracy Edmonds was a producer on this. I forgot that
Mm-hmm.
I must have forgot that she was, because there's been movies that
Mm-hmm.
she's produced that she's been a part of that people slept on,
Yeah.
because she did Who's Your Caddy. She did Who's Your Caddy, because
Oh,
she
I
has
forgot about that movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
she did Who's Your Caddy, but she has, I think, a movie studio or whatever, music entertainment company,
Yeah,
not a
they
music
both
entertainment company,
Edmonds
movie, yeah,
Entertainment. Yeah.
movie entertainment company,
They did
that she's
Soul
produced a couple of
Soldier.
movies. Yeah, she's produced a couple of movies, but I wanted to talk about that because I was thinking about Bishop T.D. Jakes, of course, and the movies that he does, and then Tyler Perry um, made his movies too. And one of the things that Tyler talked about when he was trying to get his, green light for his movies when he first started and everything like that, he was saying how Hollywood was telling him that
Mm-hmm.
there was no lane or whatever you want to
Mm-hmm.
call it
For
for
black movies.
Christian black movies.
Mm.
Nobody's gonna go see. He was saying that they were
Nope.
telling him nobody's gonna go. Nobody
Yep.
wants to go see that. Nobody wants to see that. And I'm glad he stuck to it. I'm glad that uh, Bishop T.D. Jakes stuck to it. And here's one too. And I don't know if you've seen any of these movies. They're not black classic movies, but they are. They do have some black people in them. But they're it's two brothers. They're white, but they've done Facing the Giants. They did Overcomer, and they did War Room. Those are three of the movies, and I
Yeah,
can't think of their names.
War Room. Like I will watch that over and over again. I've seen that a million
Absolutely.
times. And
Yeah.
Overcomer is good too.
Yeah.
War Room. I have purchased War Room for
Did
people.
you?
I
Yeah.
remember one of
Yeah.
my friends, shout out to Troy. I remember this
Yeah.
was years ago when it came out, and I was telling him about War Room, and I let him hold my DVD, I think. And he was like, I love that. And he was like,
Yeah.
his mother would love that. And I done
Yeah.
bought the man's mother, never even met her, but I was like, let me give this out. He was like, my mother would love that. I was like, you can't have mine. But I remember buying it. And I remember
Yeah.
being at work, telling everybody at work,
Absolutely.
breaking it down and telling people that they had to go see it,
Yeah.
that was powerful. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name,
I
but
can't
that
think of their
Overcomer is
names,
good too.
but yeah, but they're brothers because the one brother acts in the movies, in all
Yeah,
of the movies, but the other one is like the producer director. I think I think
yeah,
he's a producer director in it. But all of their movies are Christian based. They're
yeah.
Christian based
What was
movies.
the first one you said?
Facing the Giants. It's about a football team.
I
That one's
don't
another one.
think I saw.
No, you
That's
got to
the
see
I don't
that
think I
one.
saw
That
that one.
one's
I
good
gotta
too.
see.
Yeah, all of their movies are excellent,
Yeah, they are.
excellent movies,
Yeah, they are.
and it shows you that there is there is a market for Christian based movies.
Yeah,
You know, those that want to have just a solid, good movie, no cursing, no killing, but has a
Well,
message to it.
Basine said the last name is Kendrick.
Okay, but yes, the Kendrick. I guess it's the Kendrick brothers. I think that's
Yeah,
what it is. The Kendrick brothers. But but these movies are clean. These are all movies that the whole family can watch, all the way
yeah,
from the little kids all the way to
yeah,
the grandma and the great grandma.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
can watch these movies, and that's how Jumping the Broom is. Jumping the
yeah.
Broom is like that. Where the whole this is one of those movies that you can put on 4th of July when the family's
Oh
there because you
yeah,
want to watch a
yeah.
movie, Thanksgiving or Christmas,
That
and you all
background
want to watch a
movie
movie.
where
Yeah,
people think they're not watching a movie and they be like, wait a minute, then they be
yeah,
fully invested. You know how
yup,
people
and you
move
gotta.
around, they stop, they stop with a kitchen towel in their hand, and they went to the kitchen and they can't stop watching it.
What was it? The other day, um, this Christmas was on,
Yeah,
right, and it's my
hmm,
mom's favorite movie.
yeah, hmm,
So my family, we have a group text. So my one of my nieces says, "Grammy, your favorite movie is on." So all of them chiming in. Let me know when they get to the part where she beat them with the belt.
Oh yeah, with the baby oil. See, but that's what movies do for you. Movies will remind you. First of all, movies bring families together. Movies remind you of your personal history. Doing just like our war room. What was I doing? Oh, it's Gammy's favorite movie. Oh, that's this. That's who. It make you think about
Absolutely.
who you broke up with, who you was with, what friend you went to the movies with. It will show you everything. What grade you were in, what you were doing in your
Yep.
life, what job you had when you think about movies.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
but
Paula
I love
Patton's the
all of
star.
these.
Yeah,
Was this
Laz
her first
Alonso,
really like?
Angela Bassett, Loretta
Was this her?
Devine, Megan Good, Mike Epps, T.D. Jakes. You had Gary Jordan. It's so many people. Tasha Smith. You got Pooch Hall, Valerie Pettiford, D. Ray Davis. I said Gary Jordan. Little Romeo Miller. It goes on. You even had El DeBarge. Come on now, in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, oh man. And the list goes on and on. Brian Stokes Mitchell, as we talked about. Julie Bowen. A cast of this cast was amazing. I wonder
And
with that budget how much they got paid.
that's what I'm saying. I was just thinking the
Those
same
are
thing.
heavy
It's like
hitters.
that's a very low budget to have these individuals in it. Especially, well, the two big ones, of course, for me are Angela Bassett and Loretta Devine. Those are A-listers right there. You would think that they themselves could have commanded 20 million apiece,
Yeah, yeah,
each themselves. You know what I'm saying? Easily, easily.
yeah,
But that may have been the thing where they didn't necessarily worry about the money.
Yeah.
They loved the one, probably the story. But then
Yeah.
two, think about it. Angela Bassett and Loretta Devine have worked
Fireproof.
together before.
Yes. Fireproof. Yes, is another one.
There's
Basine
another
said.
one. I've heard about that, but
Fireproof.
I never watched. I never
That was
watched that, but I heard about it too. Yeah.
that was the first one I saw. But go ahead, Leroy. I wanted to.
No, I was just saying that Angela Bassett and Loretta Devine have worked together before. You know,
Waiting
so
to
yeah,
exhale.
absolutely. So
Bernadine and Gloria.
absolutely. I just really think that Loretta Devine is such an underrated actress or actor. I ain't even gonna say actress. I'm gonna say actor. She is. I mean, and Angela Bassett is. They like right there to me. A and A1. You know what I'm saying? As far as acting, but I love to see Loretta Devine take a character. She's done everything from a different world to being in different movies.
Dream Girls, starting with Dream Girls.
Yeah, Dream Girl, and even the one that I just think that she knocked it out the park. I mean, she's done so
Love
much.
Is, she did. On Love
Did
Is,
she do?
remember
Yeah,
that?
she was on Love Is, but and I know, close your ears
Oh,
because
I
I know
know what
you.
you gonna say.
I know you didn't watch this one, but that's
Because you
not the one I'm
always
thinking about.
say, I know what you get ready to say. You get ready to talk
Well,
about Gabrielle Union show.
no. That
We
was
love
the end one, but before that one, and that's why I said close your ears because I know you didn't watch it. But P Valley,
Oh, I did. But you know what? I did watch the first season. I did
let me.
watch the first season.
Yeah, I had to let it go too. But
She was his mother, right? Or his aunt or
I think she was his. She was either his mother or his aunt. It was one of the two. I think it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was his aunt. And I don't want to say grandmother, but
I
I
thought
know
you
she
were
was.
gonna say because you love her on Gabrielle Union show.
Yeah, that's where I was going. But before that, I thought about her on P Valley and her character on there. Even there, she was captivating just in that small role that she had there. But you're absolutely right. That character that she played in Being Mary Jane.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody's seen it, but that is acting at its greatest. I mean, I was just like, she doing that. She
Yeah.
make you believe.
I believed her. Look, I didn't see no femininity in that. I believed her. She went there in that character.
I was just like, yeah, she is doing
Yeah.
that. She is doing that thing. Her and Angela Bassett. I put her, Angela Bassett, Lawrence. I can't say Larry Fishburne. And Denzel are like gotta be my top four
Yeah.
actors just of
Yeah.
all time to me.
Yeah.
Those are like my favorite actors that I would just like. It doesn't matter what they in.
Yeah.
I would watch it just because it's them. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You know, it's just
So
like Sade. Sade is just music. You know,
anytime she put out something, whether
it,
it's 25 years apart,
yeah, it could be 25
everybody's
years from
favorite.
now, and she could come out sitting on a chair and just singing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
that
mean,
that
everybody, Sade, everybody who doesn't want that level of notoriety and fame? Like she can come in and out. She ain't got to deal with all the hoopla. She don't do interviews. She don't say much. She did a love for her work. People love her, and that's it.
drop the album, and
Yeah.
she could say she going on tour tomorrow, and
And
it
it be
would be
sold out in a
it'd
minute.
be it'd be
In a
so
minute.
down.
Literally. So Bassine is saying, we already said Bassine, sorry, we're not doing that for color girls. We're not doing that. That's too heavy. Sorry. She said we can do Tyler Perry. We did a whole month of Tyler Perry. We did that. But Bassine is in my head because I was thinking about this last night. She don't even know what I'm gonna say. I was thinking about this last night, and then you started saying that there's no people think that with Christian movies or movies of substance
Yeah.
like that are not going to sell. Last night, or was it 2 nights ago, I was like, we need to do 4 weeks of inspirational movies. I was thinking stuff like that. And then Bassine says y'all could do all Kendrick Brothers movies. So we could do that. but I want to do like those kind of Christian based or inspirational based movies. I want to do 4 of those. Oh no, she was saying Loretta did Tyler Perry's movies. Oh, okay. She was talking about
Yeah,
Loretta Devine. Yes, he did. Yep.
yeah, she
I
did a
thought
couple of his.
I got shook with the for Color Girls. Remember we talked about that? We was like, that's too heavy. We ain't
Yeah,
doing that.
that one. Yeah, yeah, we could. I mean, what was the other one that we did that we were just like, yeah, it was a heavy movie, but
Antoine
we did.
Fisher.
Was it
Was it
Antoine Fisher? I thought it was something else though, but that might have been it.
it
But you're
might
right.
be
For Colored Girls was just that. It was that dark, just dark movie. You know what I'm saying? Just almost, and I don't know if you consider Precious to be a dark movie too. But that
it is
I
mostly
guess
Life is precious to me too. The one Life. People love that, but that's too heavy for me. I remember leaving the movie theater with Life, like, oh, I
Oh,
never
I
this.
never, I never got it. I've watched it, once before, but that's one of those movies like you. I can't. I'm just like I can't watch it.
Me
It was
neither.
to me. It wasn't funny. I guess it was
No.
supposed to be. It was supposed to be that way. The only part that was funny was Bernie Mac. Bernie
Yeah.
Mac, of course. I'm the
Yeah.
pappy.
Yeah. It was like little parts of it, but I remember
Yeah, but I
that
couldn't.
movie, it left me too
Yeah,
heavy. Like I seen
yeah,
it once in the movies and then sometimes on TV, you catch it and I turn from it. But
yeah,
something about that movie with them wasting their lives and how I don't know, and they didn't
yeah,
do it. Like it just didn't sit right with me. People
yeah.
don't
I
that's why I
feel
said
you on that.
me and you are here a lot of times. A lot of people don't get what I say when I say that. They're like, "What you mean? That was a good movie." But
Yeah,
it
I didn't. Yeah, I'm with you right there too. It wasn't. That's one of those that I could. I wouldn't. I don't watch it like you said when it comes on. I'm not sitting there. Ooh, this is. Life is on. I gotta watch that. No,
yeah, it's too
I
heavy.
didn't. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so let's get into jumping the broom. So jumping the broom, you have a woman that was out there doing her thing, meeting Mr. Wrong, trying to date. She's like, I'm not doing it no more. I'm not giving no nothings away, no cookies, no nothing. I'm not doing that. So then, they show Laz Alonso in the movie, and they run into each other, literally. They run into each other literally, or it hits her literally, and she sees her Prince Charming. So now she sees her Prince Charming. She's like, okay, things are different. I'm going to do things differently. I'm not going to give up the cookie. I'm going to be a virtuous woman, and I'm not going to do it until he's my husband. And then you got Laz Alonso, who's making it difficult for her. And he and I haven't seen this movie in forever, but I've seen it a million times. So, well, not forever, probably last year. I see it twice a year, every year. But so he proposes to her, got El DeBarge in the movie. And they go forth to plan their wedding. So now they say on the previews, they say you got the uptown, the Martha's Vineyard, you got Angela Bassett's, Valerie Pettiford,
I
Paula
swear
Patton's.
she. I swear she's related to me because my mom's name is Pettiford, and
Maybe
and her
your mom
maiden
is
name,
sharp like that too.
and we were like, yeah, we have to find out if she related because she
I'm
might be
sure.
related somewhere around there.
I'm sure she is, because your mom is fabulous like that. I'm sure. So then you have that side, the uptown side. So then the advertisement, this is the downtown side. You got Loretta Devine, Tasha Smith, they best friends
Blue
working at the
collar.
post office. Huh?
I said blue collar. Blue
Blue
collar.
collar. You got Mike Epps as the uncle, and these two families blend or try to blend. But the problem is he meets all of her uptown family, Laz Alonso, but he never invites her downtown to meet his family. Not sure if he was ashamed or because of the class construct or
No,
because he
you don't
didn't want
remember
the mother
the
to judge.
you don't
Well,
remember the movie?
Yeah,
You don't
she was
remember?
but I'm
No?
talking about in the beginning, we don't know. I'm just kind
Oh,
of
well,
going.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In the
So we
beginning, no,
don't
you don't
know.
know. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't know.
So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know. So
True that.
then things start to unfold and a lot of things are revealed. A lot of things are seen because then when you start seeing her doing what she does, then you already know why he didn't do it. But you want to take it from there?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's about two families and two families that come from different sides of the track,
Mhm.
so to speak, if you will. And I say one middle class and one upper class. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what it seemed like because Loretta Devine's character, Miss Taylor, she works for the post office. Her and her best friend Tasha Smith. I love Tasha Smith. She
She looked good in
Cougar,
this
cougar,
movie.
cougar, 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 cougar.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but they're planning this wedding, and of course, so Paula Patton's character Sabrina, they gotta have this really well-to-do um harpist, you know, wedding with everybody, 300 people, maybe
La
even
di
a
da.
thousand, lottie
And it's
dottie,
supposed to
everybody.
be right, it's supposed to be Martha's Vineyard, but they
Yeah,
filmed
on the
it in
vineyard
Nova Scotia. They
in the
filmed it in
vineyard.
Nova
So
Scotia.
yeah,
Hmm.
so you can only imagine, what that looks like. But and well, if you ain't seen it by now, shame on you because you
Oh,
should
I
have seen it
forgot.
by now. You
Disclaimer.
know,
We are
but
going to have spoiler alerts, and if you haven't seen this movie, shame on. We
yeah,
can't even say shame on your mom and
I
them.
know,
We
cause
shame
right,
on,
exactly,
we'll have
cause
to go shame on you if you haven't
yeah,
seen this classic movie. It
but
always is on something, so catch it definitely, so you can know what we're talking about if you haven't seen it.
yeah,
Or if you've
but
seen it, you can understand.
the twist to it is everybody doesn't see isn't as if they seem that they are. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's wearing this mask, so to speak. You know, and
So
and
let's
and
talk about the mask. Talk about the mask. Start with let's talk about who's wearing the mask.
well, I
We
think well to me it seems like several people. It seems like several people were wearing a mask.
It is. They are.
Yeah.
The husband.
I think Loretta Devine, Miss Taylor, she was wearing a mask
So let's talk about it.
because
Let's go down the line.
because yeah, because
Good
she
point.
she was, she wanted to act like the uptown folk, you know, and she was. Would you say that? And you may not agree with this or not. Would you say that she was spoiled to a certain point because she was?
Mrs. Taylor, his
Yeah,
mother.
she thought that if things didn't go her way, she she would be upset about things, especially when it came to her son Laz Alonso, um Jason, where if he didn't, he had to be the one to do things for her. If he didn't want to do things for her, then she was going to, of course, make a stink about it, and and about him not being there for her, and all of those things. So
So I wouldn't
she
say spoiled with her. To
okay,
me, I would
okay,
think entitled.
okay, I was thinking that word too, but I wasn't sure. Okay, I got
Like,
you. Yeah, yeah.
because that's her son, like we were talking about in the movie Baby Boy.
Uh-huh.
That's your
Hmm.
son. How some black mothers are with their sons.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody's good enough. Let me make you your pie. I can't believe that you didn't do this. And I can't believe that ownership type of,
yeah,
I'm going to be the only woman in your life
yeah, 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 yeah.
until
And,
he
and
meets.
yeah, and you find out when he does meet this woman that he wants to marry, how his mother, Miss Taylor, um, seeks to sabotage the relationship, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? Um, I tend to think it was intentionally.
Yeah,
Um,
so before we even go into that part, let's talk about the other people with
yeah,
the mask. And we can't ignore how beautiful aesthetically this movie was in Nova
yeah,
Scotia. The water, the
yeah,
winds, the greenery. it was beautiful. It was shot. You can tell it was shot with some money
That,
because it
I'm
was
wondering. Well, I
beautiful.
wonder, was it really shot on Martha's Vineyard,
No,
or
Nova
did they?
Scotia. That's why I keep saying
No,
Nova Scotia.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Instead, it was shot there. It
Hmm.
wasn't shot it was called Blue Rocks, and I
Uh-huh.
believe that's Nova Scotia. But so we had Angela Bassett's character, Sabrina's mom, wearing a
Yep.
mask.
Absolutely.
We had Sabrina's dad wearing a mask. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
I mean, Sabrina's mom, wearing the mask, was she was one of those mothers that, that had to have everything perfect. She had to look good for everybody else. you
mm-hmm,
know the family has to look this way, and
mm-hmm.
even with her daughter Sabrina, she was when she tell Sabrina, I paid whatever amount of money it was, $50,000 for you to be able to have an education, articulate,
Right,
communicate.
right. But Angela
So,
Bassett often plays those type of roles.
yeah, she plays that very, astute, and just very, very, yeah, Angela Bassett ain't playing.
So does Valerie Pettiford. She usually
Yeah,
plays those type
but
of roles too.
she has that, and I honestly believe that that's their personalities. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm,
saying?
mm-hmm,
I think that's
mm-hmm,
part of who they really are, because they
mm-hmm,
seem to they have that kind of aura about
mm-hmm,
them. You know,
mm-hmm.
I mean, when I think of Angela Bassett, I think of that strong mother that she played in
In everything,
Boys
in everything.
Boys in the Hood, when
Yes.
she played Boys in the Hood, to playing the Queen in Wakanda Forever. Black Panther. That was she just has that presence about her, that
Yep,
regal presence. And Valerie Pettiford is the same way.
yep, they
You
do.
know,
Go.
yeah, she
Yep.
has that very, yeah, she has that, even when she was on Half and Half, that the character that she played
Yep.
on Half and
Big
Half was that
Diddy.
way.
Big Diddy. Big Diddy. For people that don't know, I won't even tell you, but I mentioned Half and Half, the show, in my new book. You have to find
Really.
out why, but it's about healing, and I mentioned that show in the book.
Yeah, I mean, because that was a great show, but she's a talented actress as
Mm-hmm,
well. She's very, 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 very talented.
mm-hmm,
But Angela Bassett, Mrs. What's her name? Watson,
mm-hmm.
Mrs. Watson. She wears this mask because she's living her life through her daughter Sabrina. With this wedding, which I think,
You think
and
so?
I'm yeah, because I mean, and I think about this. I mean, I think about how I think it's what you have to answer this because I can't answer it. Every mother's dream is to marry, see her daughter get married, to be there for her you know, through that special event,
Yeah,
and to kind of, have that experience with
yeah.
her,
Yeah.
because she
Because
had it.
I guess because she had a certain idea of what type of husband, like that was that type of family where legacy and lineage is important.
Yeah,
So when
yeah,
you have
right,
those type of
right,
families, it's very particular and
yep,
specific on what kind of husband is
right,
going to be. It all that I love him, I'm happy goes out the window in those types of families.
right.
It's
It's
about
who,
what kind of, pedigree is he from? What does his father do type family?
yep,
What is his family worth? It's that
yep,
type of thing. So
and it's
even though, and because Jason was so successful, they
yeah,
assumed
yep,
he was from this upper echelon
right.
because of how he carried himself. Because oftentimes, snooty and uppity people think that you can't be educated and successful unless you come from that background. So they assumed and they had never met. And he
That
was
metal,
afraid. But I think
but
not just because of how his mother acted and how she was, I honestly think Jason was afraid for them to meet the mom because she was a blue collar worker and she wasn't from where they were from. Then on top of that, he know how wild his mom be wilding out. But I think
yeah.
initially it might have been because of the differences in pedigree, if you will.
Well, I think it is, and I think that's a certain level of, to be honest with you, I think that was a certain level of classism. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for
That
sure.
that's, I guess, back when, when we were kings and queens in
For sure.
Africa, it was about classism. It was about, like you said, who your mama,
Who
who
your
your
mom
people,
and them? What your
who your
daddy
mama
did.
is. Yeah,
And
who
then
your
you
peoples.
right.
As we said, who your peoples.
Who
You
your
know what
people.
I'm
And then you
saying?
have Sabrina's parents, her dad, who was played by Brian Stokes Mitchell, you have him wearing a mask
Well,
because
what?
he's really broke and he's pretending
Well,
because he's
yeah, yeah,
still going forth, spending all this money, doing all of
yeah.
these things. And she thinks because he's so secretive, he's having an affair.
Right.
But the actuality is he don't know how to tell her to stop spending because he's broke.
Yeah,
But I
and
love
that
that
they
he
had
had his
lost.
back and she was like, oh, I got some money. We good. I love that. I love that. I loved that because he was like, what? We're gonna lose
Fellas,
this and this. And she was like, no, we ain't.
fellas, let me tell you, don't let these women be the only ones that got a stash. I'm telling you, that's all I'm saying. Don't let them be the only ones that got a stash.
I was watching this podcast, Egypt and Mike Jackson, and their podcast is called Marriage and Money. And
Okay.
a lot of most of the guests come on like, no, we don't have separate accounts. We have a joint, blah blah blah, and they don't. So people go back and forth with that. But we
Nah.
talk about that we should talk about that definitely on another episode. But I want to, make sure we finish up with this so we can keep this to, an
Yeah,
hour, little
you
over
definitely
like
need to. You definitely should have one joint, and then you each have your own, separate account to be able to do kind of what you do within reason and stuff like that. But you're right.
mm,
But yeah, but he was definitely,
that's
and I wasn't even when you were talking about wearing the mask. I forgot about that, him wearing the mask. I was thinking about the other part of his story with him not being Sabrina's dad,
yeah.
and
Let's get
and
into
that
it. Let's
coming
get into it because
and
that
that
is a
coming out.
mask.
It is,
Okay,
yeah,
so
and
let's
it was, and I think it was a mask, but I think it was more so um Miss Watson wanting to keep that versus him. I think he would have told it.
yes, I
He didn't.
agree. I
I
agree.
really think he would have told it. He'd have been like, I think it's best that
I
she
agree.
knows. You know, I guess because they were, they had her since she was little.
Right.
She was all that they knew.
So what
So
Leroy is talking about, guys, if you haven't seen it, so what Leroy is talking about, so Sabrina is Paula Patton's character. Laz Alonso is Jason, right? So they're getting married and the aunt comes to town, Valerie Pettiford's character. She's like I don't even know if we have time to talk about that boat scene. That was funny.
I
But
know, right?
she comes to the island for the big wedding, and that's Sabrina's favorite aunt. She loves her aunt. So you see her mom in the background. That looks still normal. That, the mother's strict, but the aunt is fun. So that still looks normal. Well, she finds out by Jason's mom, Mrs. Taylor, that her parents, Angela Bassett and Brian Stokes's Stoke Mitchell's character, that they're not her real parents. But how she finds out
Yeah,
is foul.
yeah,
It's
real
from
foul.
Mrs. Taylor, Jason's mom. So you already, up until that point, you already have kind of tension where in some cases she does seem jealous of Jason's new soon-to-be bride, Sabrina. And
Yeah,
she's already salty because she never got a chance to meet her other than the weekend of the wedding where Jason has spent time with her family. She didn't get that. So she was already salty. She was already complaining. Why they got to be so uppity? Why they got to have it here? Already looking her nose down, Loretta Devine's character. And she was already complaining the whole time. Annoying, right? So her friend, who's Tasha's, like, come on, let's just go. We're going to go. So they all get on the boat and they look like they ain't never been nowhere. They don't know how to act. You got the Michael F., the uncle on there, everybody on the boat like, woo, we going to Martha's Vineyard. Hey, let's get it. Let's get it. And then you go into these refined people like, who are those hooligans? Why are they acting like that? So they try to be, they don't even try to be like Medea when he say acting proper. They just come as they are and they blow up the spot. So then you got the Sabrina's family looking at them like, what is going on? So she's already feeling a certain type of way. Sabrina is cultured. She's like, this is what we're going to do. This is what I want you to wear. This is where you stay. This is where, and she's trying to be herself, professional. And, you know, they do things a certain way where Jason's family don't do things that way. They do it how they want to do it. She ain't going to tell me what dress to wear, what to eat, what not to do, who she thinks she is. And Tasha, like Tasha Smith's character is like, chill, best friend, we here. Let's lighten up. And so all of this stuff happens. So you fast forward to her snooping in the kitchen or just in their hearing or just in there. And she finds out from the conversation of Valerie Pettiford and Angela Bassett's characters, who are sisters, that in fact, they were outside, I think. In fact,
yeah, they were on the beach. They were on the beach.
They were on the beach, and because they came into the kitchen. So they were on the beach, and she finds out. And instead of, I was so mad at her in that space because she finds out that those aren't Sabrina's real parents, that actually her favorite aunt, Valerie Pettiford's character, is her real mom. And it was a love affair from someone she met, you know, once. And she kind of hints to it, and then she comes out and says it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody, which is a low blow. So just because you don't like how she operates, Sabrina didn't deserve to find out that her whole life, what she thought was true, was not. During the weekend of her wedding, which was supposed to be the most happiest part, right? So then, you know, everybody is mad at Miss Taylor, like, yo, what did you do that for? You know, you just blew up the spot, blew up this girl's world. So now she's like, I don't want to get married. I don't know who I am. She's leaving. So then Jason got to have that come to Jesus conversation with his mama, and you can take it from there.
Yeah, and it causes him to have to confront his mother, you know, and which there are, like you said, even in the movie Baby Boy, but I think it was more so her confronting him versus this time. This was him confronting her, and he was like, you know, I'm the loving son. I've been there for you. I'm gonna still be there for you. You know, what is it that you want from me? He was like, they didn't want to have your, what was it, cake or pie, something like that she had, you know, favorite greens or something like that. You know, they didn't want to jump the Broom. She wanted it to be her wedding, and Jason was like, it's not your wedding, it's hers. So you can't dictate to her what it is that she wants. If she doesn't want to jump the broom, that's her choice.
And I want to talk about that too. Jumping. So let me just quickly, before you go further, jump in the broom, for people who don't know, it's an African American or African tradition to jump the broom because Black folks weren't allowed to get married. So they didn't have paperwork and all of that. So to symbolize that their union was solid and that they got married, they would jump the broom.
Right. That's where the title came, and that's where the title came from, jumping the broom, because that was the symbolism with the whole story. But he has to confront his mother and is like, Mom, I love you, but you just cost me potentially my marriage. This woman who wanted to marry me, you've destroyed her life. And then he threw in what I thought was perfect, but it was the dagger. And you get these so self-righteous people, you know, that have to be checked, and he checked her.
Sometimes you know, and said,
look, you know, and you said you prayed on it, and this is what God told you to do, was to destroy a family. I was like, yeah, he really, you know, he stood up then. I was just like, yeah, that needed to be said.
He had to.
And it had to.
In the Black community, you ain't supposed to. Don't be saying nothing about your mama. Don't be talking. But sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah,
and he has to protect his soon-to-be wife first.
Yeah.
Because that's what.
And he did it very respectfully. He didn't. It wasn't like he was yelling, didn't raise his voice or anything like that. Not anything like that. But he was like, Ma, I got to tell you about yourself. You know. I need, you know, here we are, supposed to be the happiest day of his life, and you ruined that with him.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, but this movie it had so many layers to it, even from the beginning, like you said with Paula Patton, promising God, Lord, if you get me out of this, I'll never do this
So
again.
many people that had that prayer. I know y'all can relate. Listen, so many people had that prayer that if you help me
I'm
this
sorry.
time, I'm never
I,
gonna do it again.
I want to get you canceled already since you miss subscriber now. I mean miss what they call it, you've got your badge now. You got your
Oh,
badge now. You got your badge now.
but
But I
you
don't know how you say it. But ladies,
can
y'all done held that all
that cookie.
that little test up, and it was like, Lord, if you
You want it to be
get me through this,
negative,
if you get me through this one, I ain't quitting it.
right? I
You
think
know.
everybody done said stuff a million times. Lord, if you get me through this, if you get me this right here, Lord have mercy. But
Yeah, but
so
it
so
has the story just has these waves, and like you said, it's a well told story.
it is.
It's, I mean, everything that
And
was
then you have
about
a
it. You
lot of
can
B and C footage, the D side.
let me ask you this, because we talked about the budget. Do you now, if we were to just look at the movie,
Mhm.
would you have thought that that was only a $6.6 million movie? Like you
No,
said, thinking of
no,
the way it was
no,
shot and everything like that.
no. And maybe because they did it in Nova Scotia, it was less expensive, but it was
Yeah.
gorgeous. But we have to talk about Curtis Mayfield, the whole soundtrack in that movie. And you got man.
I wrote down the songs from the soundtrack, and
Go ahead, run them off. Man, and when
That Curtis Mayfield, is my favorite song. I'm just a Curtis Mayfield just fanatic,
man,
man. Let me tell you, because that was that the name of that song is um oh man, where did I write it? Hold on.
because Monica tried to do it over. I didn't
Oh,
get it.
where did I write? You mean to tell me I didn't write that name? Oh no, here it is. The Makings of You. That's it.
Yep,
The Makings of You, because
yep,
it's number one on my list here. The
yep.
Makings of You, Curtis Mayfield.
And the way they let
The
that ride out in that movie, whoo, the scene.
the Cupid Shuffle by Cupid. Everybody know that the Cupid
Yeah.
Shuffle.
Can I tell you?
Um,
Can I tell you a funny? I got a chance to do the Cupid Shuffle with Cupid at the Essence Festival
did
in
you? Oh, that's awesome. That's what's up.
that was so dope. I never
Yeah,
tell that story, but how dope is that? He
yeah,
was singing it and I was doing it with him. That was
cool.
so cool.
That's cool. But you had All I Do Is Win, and I didn't realize that wasn't just a DJ Khaled song. Check this out. That All I Do Is Win, Ludacris, Snoop, DJ Khaled, T Pain, Rick Ross, and there were a couple other people that I didn't know. So, but these are the ones that
That
I
was a
knew.
remix.
All I Do Is Win. Yeah, is
That's
it
a
okay?
remix. That's right.
You got My Girl on here, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. That's one of my favorite
Man,
Aretha Franklin
what
songs.
about
Go
that
Troubled
scene when
Waters.
they played that? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, whoever, and I know it's a director, Salim, and this was Salim Akil's first movie to
Okay.
direct.
Okay.
He did
Okay.
television, but this was his movie directorial debut.
He
And
needs
the
to do
way
more.
that he directed this and
Yeah.
how they showed the scenery when some music was playing and then the scenes, I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
almost as perfect as a storyline.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And
movie
it
was its
flows,
own, music
and
was
this
its own
the
character.
soundtrack reminds me of the way that Ray, the movie Ray's
Mm,
soundtrack was.
mm,
Every
mm,
song was perfectly perfectly fit the
mm,
scene. It
mm.
was all about the flow. There was I mean absolute flow in it. You had and I don't know if you know this, Warren Campbell produced like 5 6 songs on this
Mm.
soundtrack. I don't know if
Yeah.
y'all know who Warren Campbell is, but
Come on.
he's the husband of
See, there
Erica
you go.
Campbell.
See, we reduce people to, and he been doing it too
Well,
long as
but see, well, here's the thing, because he's behind the scenes. People don't realize
Mary,
that
Mary.
Mary, he's produced a lot, most of Mary stuff.
All.
So yeah, so folks don't really necessarily know him because he's not out in front. They know Erica and her sister. They
He
know
had an
Mary.
unsung too. He ended up having an unsung.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. This
So,
season, this season.
because you had him, um, Juan Winans, which is one of the Winans boys. I think this is the son. I think
Mhm.
Juan is the son.
Mhm.
You had you had my man Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, that was on there.
Oh, and they
Um,
sang that. Remember they
and
sang
I
that?
didn't realize this too, that Paula Patton co-produced a song with Robin Thicke. This
Magic.
was before they broke up. Yep,
That
Magic.
song. So let me tell you, that's what I'm saying. Let me tell you how dope the soundtrack is and how they placed it. When they were on that boat, like I was talking about, coming to
Yeah,
Martha's Vineyard, and they played Magic, and it was loud on that boat. I mean, every song was perfectly
yeah,
selected. And
yeah.
then the way that they did it, you know how sometimes music is dulled down? This
Right.
was like another music was like a character in
But
this
see,
movie.
this
It
is
was
the thing
big and broad.
when you look at this, when you look at the totality of the movie, and to say they only did it for 6.6 million.
I know. It doesn't seem like
Look,
it.
look at the songs that they got on here. I mean, you got classic songs that I don't know how much they had to pay to, because you're talking they had to pay to get these songs on here, because these were songs that I think were out. I don't know how many of them were originals. Maybe the Warren Campbell songs might have been originals, but you think about Bridge Over Troubled Waters. You think about Sexual Healing. You think about Cupid's Shuffle, The Makings of You,
Mhm.
All I Do Is Win. Al Green's Simply Beautiful was on there. These are all songs that have been out for
Yeah.
years. You easily could pay the ones that I just gave you. You could easily pay 1 million each for those.
Yeah. Now you know what's something I'm just thinking as we're talking about the music. So we've seen Love Is, and we were talking about that at the top
Mhm.
of the show. Now, Love Is was about Mara Brock Akil and Salim Akil, right? So in the show, he loved music and loved
Mhm.
records and introduced
Mhm.
her to new songs. So I'm just thinking, this is just my theory, and once we look, we might see. But if this was his first movie directorial debut, oh, he was going to put some good music in it.
Yeah, he
He
was gonna
was
make
going
sure.
to, because I never seen it done like that. Because music typically, sometimes you see a little music being like the headliner kind of thing, but usually music is dulled down as background.
Mhm.
This was like
Mhm.
broad and big and loud, and I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
it when they
Yeah.
played that
Yeah.
Makings of You, like Trouble Water, like everything, Magic. I mean, and if you haven't watched it the way that Leroy and I are talking about, just go back.
Yep.
If you just remember the storyline and you can do that, if you really, I don't know how you didn't, but if you didn't pay attention to the music, watch it again and just listen for the
To
music.
the movie, and it's very, like you were saying, it's very few movies that you really, like you said, the soundtrack is as big as the movie. Like
Mhm.
you said, we when we think about Ray, and another movie that I think about is New Jack City. New Jack City's soundtrack was just big, like you were saying. It was that soundtrack that you were like, and I want to say Teddy Riley did that whole set. I think um he was the music composer on that. And even and I don't know what you think about this one, but even Kingdom Come, um Kirk
I'm
Franklin
watching that
did that.
now again for the 32nd time. Yeah.
Yeah. Kirk Franklin did that soundtrack, and that soundtrack was really, when you
Yeah.
go back and you watch the movie and you start to listen to the songs, and like you were saying, how
Yeah.
they are placed, where they are placed in me. I mean, it was
Yeah.
absolutely, like I said, the one that did it for me was Ray. I just thought Ray. I mean, and it was his music, but they placed it perfectly in the
Yeah.
movie. The movie,
That's a
the
skill.
soundtrack
Who's
was the
composing.
movie. The soundtrack was the movie. If you follow his
Yeah.
writing, that's what I'm saying. You get a lot of writers, a lot of musicians. If you chronicle their lives, their music
Yeah.
chronicles their life. Mary J. Blige is another one that her music chronicles her life.
Yeah.
If you think about the music that she's done,
Yeah.
all of those. But yeah, it's this soundtrack is one that you could just, even if you just go to YouTube and put in the soundtrack,
Yeah.
and listen to the
So
soundtrack
now,
of this movie.
so now the composer, and this doesn't mean the placement, even the music that we don't recognize. Edward Shearmer, I got to give it up to him for that. Edward Shearmer, and I just want to make sure I give him cinematographer. I got to shout them out because the cinematography was amazing. Anastas M. Mikos, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong. The music was by Edward. And I just really have to, and then nothing happens that the director doesn't allow to happen in okay. So all of them together, coming up with this, man.
Yeah, they definitely did their thing, and this certainly should not be his his last movie, because this was phenomenal. You knock it out the box. Your first movie, that's just like Denzel, his first directorial movie was it Antoine Fisher?
Yeah,
or was it The Debaters? Or
no,
was it The
Antoine
Debaters?
Fisher. Antoine Fisher. Because remember, they wanted him in, and he couldn't find someone to do it.
They didn't. Yeah, they were like, "Nah, well, you gonna do it," So, but to come out as strong as he did, Salim Akil did with this movie, you certainly should catch the eye of of Hollywood or whatever, and say, you know what, and see, this is what I was saying about now that Tyler Perry has a full-fledged studio. He can bring in, what's his name? Salim Akil. Salim, what manuscripts you got?
Yeah. Because because he has written a lot. He has produced a lot. So now, since then, he's directed Black Lightning. He's directed Being Mary Jane. See, he already did. So I can't say that because he's been doing TV for years. So this was movies. So he did TV movies and TV shows, but this was the first. And he also directed Sparkle, as we talked about. Mm-hmm. He directed Sparkle after that the next year. The one with Whitney Houston.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah.
The one with Whitney Houston.
So that was his first movie. And oh no, he did that. He did this one first, and then he did Sparkle.
Yeah, because this was 2011. Sparkle was 2012, and then of course he's directed 14 episodes of Girlfriends, 8 episodes of Soul Food, the TV show. He's directed 71 episodes of the show The Game. He directed 17 episodes of Being Mary Jane. He created and directed Black Lightning, 12 episodes of that. So he's not new to directing, but Love Is, he directed 10 episodes of that. He executive produced Love Is and executive produced Being Mary Jane. Directed 52 episodes of that, or produced 52 episodes. So he's been in this game for forever, but I love the fact that this is his first movie. How you want to wrap this up? How you want to wrap up the episode? I mean, the movie.
Can you imagine Salim Akil, Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, because he just he didn't direct it. He just started. I was going to say he directed A Journal for Jordan, but that was Denzel. Denzel, and I'm trying Ava DuVernay. Can you imagine them sitting at a table and Tyler Perry picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, I want to meet with y'all. I need some scripts that can be done on this line."
But I don't know if Tyler Perry does that.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to. To me, and I love his success, but that's the business part of it. Hey, I'm not that Medea thing. That's done. I'm trying to bring folks in here that's going to bring the material that's going to blow up even more. Tyler Perry studio. And I got some folks that are writing, that have the talent, that have the skill set, that we know are going to write and direct block office hits. And you don't have to worry about Hollywood
Yeah. I think
getting
that he would
their
invite them
hands in it.
to, I think that's a good point, Leroy. I think that he would invite them to film on their set, but what you're saying is a good point.
I'm just saying we got to think. To me, this is thinking, and I'm always thinking business ecosystem. How do we that our ecosystem us?
Yeah.
It should encompass all the writing, directing, just the studio. It
Yeah.
that just that money that would circulate just between us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my closing thoughts about that. It's just, and I mean, here's another one. TD Jakes. I know he has other scripts. He's talked about it. Now
Yeah.
he may be in a deal, a movie deal, I think with Sony or whoever it is.
Yeah.
So he may be contractually obligated to them to write a certain number of movies. Like,
Let's write a script, Leroy, and send it to Tyler.
I know, right? Be like, yo, T, we got something for you. You
I'm
know,
glad you said T, like you know him.
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah. Like I can pick up, like he in my Rolodex. Yeah, right.
Right.
But I truly believe we're all only 6 degrees of separation from each other.
For
I
sure.
really, I really believe that. But
For sure.
this,
For
this,
sure.
this, this movie was like you were saying. And we'll start off and end it this way. It was well written.
Mm-hmm.
No killing, no
Mm-hmm.
stealing. And here's the thing: nobody died.
Nobody died. Some people had
Nobody
to be
died in this
checked,
movie.
though. Some people had to be checked. Jason had to check his cousin when he said that he went
Yeah,
up and he
sure
feel
did.
and he
Yep,
think he's all that. He had to check him. He had to check D. Ray Davis for trying to. I mean,
yep,
that was D. Ray Davis's character because he wouldn't let him borrow no money and he did this.
yeah.
He got his friends
That was
from work at
Malcolm.
the law firm.
It,
Right. There you go. Malcolm. Then he got his friends from the law
it,
firm, Pooch Hall. Then he got his cousins. So when people are trying to elevate and transforming their lives to be better,
and we
it's
didn't even.
old school
I'm
people.
sorry. We didn't even mention Megan Good and Chef.
Right. No. So you want to do that quickly? Then we got to
Yeah,
wrap.
real quick, because what was his character on A Different World? What was that? What was it? Was it Shazam?
Shazam.
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 Shazam from A Different World plays the chef in this one, and Megan Good
How do you
plays.
have the nerve to have sex in your friend's parents' kitchen?
And what Mike Epps is stupid. He said, "I know you didn't have your, I know you didn't have your whatever." No,
I'm like,
I was
and
like,
you know
only
what?
Mike
They say
Epps.
that's the best way to where to meet somebody is at a wedding or during that wedding. That's the best time to meet
Yeah,
somebody.
and that's actually what happened because I think Megan Good's character Blythe, she's swearing off men just like what's her name, just like Sabrina
Sabrina.
as well. But she's she meets this chef that is over this event, and she looking at him. She gives him that look. And I'm actually real quick. I know we got to go real quick. And is this true? Because I had a friend of mine tell me this years ago and I've never forgot it. She said, "Women will give men this look. It's subtle,
Uh-huh.
and most men will miss it if they're not paying attention. But they will give them a look. They'll give us a look that will show that they see us in that different light, or it's like, I'm interested. I'm interested
Mm.
in him, and most of us miss it because we're
Yeah.
not paying
You
attention or
know,
whatever. But she would always tell me that. She said, Leroy, I think we lost her, y'all. We'll see if she comes. She should come right back. But she said my friend said that women will give us men a look, and it's nothing that's kind of over the top or anything like that. It's a subtle look that they give us that lets us that lets us know that they see us in that way as more than a friend or more it's somebody that they are truly interested in. So
mhm.
fellas, if you ever wondering if a young lady or if a woman is interested in you, keep an eye out for how she looks at you, because if she said you'll miss it if you're not paying attention. She said, but every woman, and I know when she said it, she said in every movie, she said, especially movies about, where you have love interest, she said, there's always a look that the woman will give the guy to let him know. And I started looking at movies and I started noticing it. Love Jones. Remember when she's walking out of the record store?
Oh
He
yeah,
didn't
she looks
see it,
back at him in the
but
back.
she looks back.
Yeah,
She
she looks
looks
back.
back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the look that
That's the
she
look.
was talking about. He didn't, of course, see that there, but there was that look that it's just, and when I started noticing it in movies, I was like, daggone it, she's right about that. There's always
Yeah.
in the movie that there's
Especially
always
those
a look.
romantic comedies, or when boy meets girl, those type of shows. All right, we got to get out of here. We don't want to keep you too much time. We're going to try to keep it to an hour, because Leroy and I will go for 2 hours. We already know. But you want to have the last words about the movie? And
just if you haven't seen it, this is definitely a movie that you should watch. It's been on cable a number of times. You could probably still find it. You might even, I don't know if you can find it for free now, but you could probably find it on, like, I don't know if Hulu would have it, but Netflix might have it. Maybe like Apple, Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever, one of them. Maybe even BET Plus. I don't know, but it's definitely worth. This is a good movie worth watching. It's no cursing. I just thought about that too. No cursing.
It's TD Jakes. It's supposed to be. I'm glad the light came back. Cause look, my battery. I had an hour's worth of battery. We good now. Because it was.
But definitely is one you want to check out.
Absolutely, Leroy. Like, if you do us a favor, watch it differently now and listen to the soundtrack and watch the show. Into the comments, let us know what you think about Jumping the Broom. Have you seen it? How many times have you seen it? Let us know that. Let us know who your favorite character is. What's your favorite storyline in this? Because there's a lot of different, nuggets that you can't talk about in an hour. So I suggest that you all watch it again differently and let us know what you think in the comments about Jumping the Broom. So since we did Jumping the Broom this week, next week we're going to do what? Well, we still have to do baggage claim before we start our month. Remember, we talked about that.
Yeah. Let's do baggage claim.
So we're going to do baggage claim next month. That's Paula Patton's movie as well.
David Robert E. Talbot, though.
The book, let me tell you, I read the book like 2 times before the movie. Years ago, before the movie came out. So next week we're going to talk about baggage claim, and of course, my favorite scene in baggage claim is when they played New Edition and they were dancing to New Edition. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, get ready for next week and watch baggage claim. All right, Leroy, I love you, man. You are my brother. I could not do this show with anyone else other than you, because you see movies like I see movies, and I see movies like you see movies. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching MT Jams, more than just a movie, where we break down classic Black films. They're classic to somebody. They're classic to somebody. A classic, a good telltale sign is classic. If it's on and you keep it on and you watch it, even after you watched it a million times, that's when you know it's a classic. All right. Remember, you're a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Till next time. God bless. Peace. Keep watching movies.
Subscribe, comment, share. Subscribe, comment, share. Now.
Now. You heard the man. Bye, y'all. Thank you for watching.